Hello, all you beautiful creatures. We have returned. League Unlock. Eric and Mark with you guys. It's the LEC's turn for a little bit of power rankings. And the theme of the final week of the regular season was the bottom stepping up. The entire bottom four in the LEC. They wanted to go out with a bang, and boy, did they ever.
It's unfortunate that they're not in the LCS, where the records are going to keep going into the summer split. No, it doesn't matter. It's all in vain.
Full reset.
At the end of the day, some entertainment value and absolutely
pride. It's about pride.
Some chances to play spoilers in the standings for playoffs was what was on the line, and the EU fans couldn't wait to see that go down.
You got to give credit to playing spoilers, and there was plenty of spoiling going on. Astralis, their first ever, not even just 2-0, a 3-0 weekend for them. It got Felix a contract extension with them through the rest of the year. And yes, one of these games was against the Mad Lions where, Mad decided, let's just roll swap, let's troll. And Astralis said, no, man, we need the dubs. We're going full try hard.
You know what? Some situations I can understand being upset at an Astralis for going full try hard. Man, it's been a rough split. They needed this one, and let alone what we have seen with them with Felix and the format. This is a good little, punch and indication to the rest of the LEC what we're going to be able to do and what we're going to provide in the summer split. Yes, Astralis moving up with this one and what they've been able to provide. All eyes are towards summer for them and try to continue this level of progress and momentum into that part of the summer split. Important to remember that, look, what we had with Origin, the super team of Origin, Alfari, upset, it's the same amount of wins as this Astralis.
It hurts. It hurts. It's just painful. Both of those guys are happy to not be with the organization anymore, I imagine. But I think overall, Astralis, you're still happy with the split. For when this roster was put together, what you were expecting, we get to see the development of Felix. We're going to see him continue to be a starter, which is something people have been asking for and wanting to see for splits on splits now. So I'm excited for that. They end the season with a bang. Number 8 is where things get a little bit weird because, wait a second, that's a playoff team. That's SK Gaming coming in at number 8. Well, they got a 5-game losing streak heading into playoffs. And the other problem, XL wins against G2 and Rogue in the final day, basically 1 game away from playoffs, and Misfits 1 upset loss to Vitality away from making playoffs. Both of them performed incredibly well in the last week, and you can even go back to the week before for Misfits stepping up. So SK, yes, they're a playoff team, but they should be counting their blessings.
It's extremely scary to think about the LEC and to think about a team like SK and the progress that they have made this split overall and the positives that we have seen from them, and to realize that the rest of the bottom and middle tier of the LEC is improving alongside them and is ready to jump up and down and get those victories as well. Oh boy, it's a scary world to be one of these squads. You said it, XL, a team that, again, is in kind of this lower middle pack tier of the LEC, finding the magic run through Rogue and G2. Yes, you can maybe say maybe not a completely focused, but just so coming close. Just coming up short in that playoff run, but still providing a ton of reasons and a ton of proper plays that lead you to be excited about what they can provide, not only for the next split, but excited in the sense of needing to see them in that next level of competition, that next test, that next tier, which of course SK is getting to participate in of the playoffs.
And again, right now, if you're matching up, I'd rather play SK than both Misfits and XL, despite both of them not being in the playoffs. So it was the thinnest of margins. Luckily for SK, they slide in to that number 6 spot. And we go on to that top 5 where there's only one real change here we're talking about. And XL, Misfits, they were great. They showed up, just couldn't quite get it done to playoffs. Schalke, not only do they make playoffs, they fly into that number 4 spot. They finish with the same amount of wins as Fnatic. And looking at these standings, Mark, Fnatic, 3 more wins than Astralis. If I told you that in the regulars before the season started, you would have said, man, Astralis, what an incredible season they had.
Yeah, with everything on this Fnatic roster and the power that should be there, even considering the loss of someone like Reckless and what he brought to the team, and especially the restraint it seems like he brought to the team. This performance, this record at the end of the split for this Fnatic team, this roster put together, unacceptable to me. I think it needs to absolutely be better and improved upon for the summer split. How you get there? Well, you're going to have to find that answer for yourselves, because that is the $1 million question.
There's a lot of questions. You know, we're a few questions away from the $1 million question if it's who wants to be a millionaire. But yeah, there were a lot of issues. Obviously, the 0-3 in final week hurts a lot, and the reason that Schalke can jump ahead of them, climb all the way to 4, is because we saw that head-to-head, and that was the only game this weekend where Fnatic actually had a good, proactive early game where they had a lead, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, well, I'd rather focus on the positives of Schalke, what we've seen at this point, and yes, positives again for Schalke. It's been a long time.
They're just making the fans sweat. That's all.
They were trying to get back to the good old days of the Miracle Run, those type of feels where they had to put on a Miracle Run to get into playoffs. Miracle Run pays off. Getting into playoffs, the performances step up. Fakerdagge makes his appearance once again. What is this? He appears in the LCK again for a T1, and now we got Fakerdagge.
They're forever linked. Again. That was the problem. Faker's getting subbed out, and Abadage is like, I feel weak.
It's a disturbance in the force. There it is.
Powers are dwindling.
He gets slotted back in, and there we go. You get the Fakerdagge back in the mid lane. Broken Blade, as we've said it, making sure that the other top laners got a broken brain. Things have been good for Schalke this past week. That Urgot coming through, and as I've said, I've given lots of criticism to the duo of Neon and Limit in the bottom side. I think their performance slipped greatly during the struggles for Schalke. You got to make sure to give them proper credit when it does bounce back for them. And I said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. Specifically, I think Limit in the support position stepped up what he was being able to do, providing not only to Neon as the duo partners, but what he'd been providing to the rest of the team as that support.
For the number 3 spot, Mad Lions stay put. And if you just look at their record, it's a little deceiving from last week because they go 1-2. But again, that one game against Astralis, we're playing Nocturne top in off rolls. Elyoya's playing Kiana mid. And the one win was against G2. So all of a sudden, a 1-2 record doesn't sound so bad.
Hey, the peaks and valleys of this past weekend, making sure coming through for the Mad Lions. This is still a team that when you think about the overall performance and even removing this weekend, removing the G2 win, you still feel excited about them every time they match up against a team higher up than them in the standings, because they always step in and deliver a performance that is without fear, that is always stepping right into looking, saying, hey, we know that you want to play a certain style and you're going to play pretty well, but we're going to draft to our style. We're going to make sure that we have our identity, and you need to be able to answer to that as well, let alone your own style, and making sure that that executes well. I think that is going to provide an interesting wrinkle for a lot of these squads if they face off against the Mad Lions in the playoffs.
They're the perfect example of a team that plays to the level of their competition. You get games, they drop to Astralis. Okay, whoops, there's a whoopsie there. Or they match up against G2. Doesn't matter if it's a best of 1 or we've seen best of 5 series with the core of this squad. Whatever level their opponent is playing at, Mad Lions will meet you there. You want to sink to the bottom and play in the mud? They'll be there. You want some high quality gameplay? They'll meet you.
It is exciting, and as much as we've talked about the teams past below them, Schalke and seeing Fakerdagge come back, I think the important thing is to think in the last kind of 3 weeks we have seen Humanoid's performance step back up to that level that he needs to be at, and needs to even improve at if Mad Lions is going to make a meaningful run in these playoffs.
Yeah, and he's going to be a key player, not dying as much, which you're right, we haven't seen the last couple of weeks. G2 and Rogue, of course, they're still 1-2. They finished with the same records. G2 goes 1-2 in the final week. Who cares? Who cares?
What else do you want to talk about these two squads? Clearly, again, as much as you want to put positives on anybody else, clearly the top 2 teams in the LEC right now and what they've been able to do. And again, we've been given a clear answer as who's the number 1 and who's the number 2 in G2, and then Rogue at number 2 and what they've been able to do. This is it. We are getting towards playoffs. We are getting in the situation that we want for these two organizations to prove themselves, to test themselves, and see which one is going to go to MSI. That's going to be the thing, because right now we got G2 leading out in front You can't knock out Rogue. You can't count out Rogue. And absolutely, both of these two can't count out anybody in the LEC playoffs because they will find a way to push and punish you. Going to be an exciting time in Europe.
And, you know, LPL, LEC All-Pro teams, we're coming out. We're going to do our own eventually. There better be 8, 9, almost 10 players from Rogue and G2 on those first and second teams, basically.
You'd be crazy not to have them up there, and the way that they've been performing. Specifically for me, the jungle position is one that I want to look at as how it's performing, because really in the last 2 weeks, we've seen a big increase in performance from someone like Yankos for G2 has said, look, I've had enough. I've had enough of these memes about my spears and what's going on. I'm here to put down some strong performances, which he absolutely has. And then even at that point, someone like Inspired, who over the last year, we've been saying has been the best performing jungler in the LEC, and what he's been able to provide. Providing those type of looks is going to be a lot different and a lot more difficult as we head towards playoffs.
Most of the roles, you're talking about 1 and 2 for Rogue and G2. But that's it for the regular season power rankings in the LEC. Eric and Mark here with you guys. Thanks for hanging. Catch you on that flippity flip.